In software engineering, we are talking about chapter number 7, Principle that Guide Practice. What is a software engineering practice? So, software engineering is a subject in computer science, but while we are developing a software, we need to put this in practice, the software engineering concept. So practice is what you have learned, the concept, all the principles software engineering is producing, the method it is suggesting, the tool you can use for software engineering. So these all combine, the engineer, the software engineer, he call upon on a daily basis. So this is called a practice, because all you're doing is creating a software product. So you have to put these all in practice. So when you put this all in your practice, the software engineering concepts, for example, the managers will be able to manage the software projects properly, and the software engineers will be able to build the computer programs, build the software. The tester will be able to test the program properly. So this all practice, which is the software engineering practice, if we apply it in a planned manner, that is, if we are going from one place to another, say 100 kilometers, 1000 kilometers. So if you haven't decided or not planned the visit, say a hotel is not there, some mishap occurs. So the organized way is a good way, which is the software engineering way. So the practices, the principles, the concepts, how we are going to impart this, because we are learning it and we have to put these all in practice so that we make a good software. Software engineering knowledge. Here we have Mr. Steve McConnell. Now, in an editorial which was published in IEEE, Steve, he commented that these practitioners, basically the programmers, they are getting knowledge, they are gaining the knowledge of software engineering as the specific technologies like Java, Perl, HTML, C++, Linux, Windows, NT, and now today Python, C#, etc. They want to know everything, or they learn things. But he suggested that this software knowledge of programming, etc., is just having a life of half-life. That means in 3 years it is going to get obsolete. New programming language has come or will come. But the software engineering principles, this will be lifelong. For a software programmer, for a software professional, these software engineering principles will be lifelong. It will not be like a programming language learned or a concept learned. So he says that this software engineering as a subject, as a science, as a concept, this knowledge, it's all about 75% of all the knowledge of computer science. What he is suggesting, he is saying it is stable. So 75% knowledge is all about software engineering concepts only, if you are able to develop the complex systems. Principles that guide process. So the process life cycle, the software development life cycle, or the process model, or the software model, all these, the SDLCs, etc. So what are the principles, the underlying principles, or the thoughts, or the science, the technology for the process? So whenever we are talking about a software development life cycle or a process model, it is true what we are suggesting, the principle is true for any spirals or say scrums, any software model you choose or the company chooses. So you start with the communication to get the requirement, then you plan, analyze and plan, then you model so that you can construct or actually code and test, and finally you deploy the software. So these are the framework activities of any software development life cycle. So what are the core principles for software processes, software development life cycle? Be agile. Agile means fast. Agile means flexible. Agile means you are ready for the change. So whichever model you choose, it can be a prescriptive model like the waterfalls, like the spiral, like the iterative and the prototype. Okay? It can be agile. So basically you choose any process model for getting the software done or built. So it can be prescriptive, what we learned earlier as the, you can say, traditional way or the agile way. The only thing is you have to keep your technical approach, your technical work, your technical aspect as simple as possible. Because we are making design, we are making requirement, we are making so many things. Okay? In extreme programming, we create user stories, the unit tests, etc. All these has to be as less as possible as work products. And as a team, because you want to have a self-organizing team, take decision locally. Next thing comes is focus on quality at every step. In every field of life, people want quality. So every exit condition of any kind of activity, any kind of action, any kind of task, any kind of work product, any kind of document, anything, never compromise with the quality. Principle 3 is be ready to adapt. See, process is not a religion like Hinduism or Islam or Christianity. Once, years back it was there, and now there is no change possible. Right? We become dogmatic. We just follow what is being told by us, by our seniors, or Here, we need to adopt because the software project needs you to adapt according to the scenario, situation. Build an effective team. You are making the software. The people are going to use the software. So it's all about people. So as I said, you need to have a self-organizing team. Means the team has to have love, respect, trust, everything. The next principle is establish mechanism for communication and coordination. Communication is all about talking. As a developer, you can talk to manager can talk to stakeholder can talk to some technologies, manager can talk to some specialist. So all here we are talking because we need information, we need all coordination. Okay? So in order to make a good product, we need a mechanism, a proper planned mechanism for communication and coordination. For example, in meeting, there are 4 people sitting and they all are speaking. You cannot coordinate. So we need a coordination in a meeting, in a communication scenario. If the information goes in a crack, then that information may lead to catastrophe. Manage the change. As I said, you follow the prescriptive model or the agile model, any formal or informal, whichever you choose. The change will come. Change is inevitable part of life. So if the user comes to you and he says, I want this change, how he has requested the change, what change has been requested, you have to assess the change, whether it can be done, how it can be done, whether we have to approve it or not, and finally how we need to implement it or how it is going to be implemented. This is the management of change. Assess risk. As I said, there is nothing in life which is not contained with risk. Okay? You cannot make perfect things. Things can go wrong sometimes, or maybe in certain milestones. So establish contingency plan. If that is plan B, plan C. If something happens, how we are going to mitigate. SDLC is not a small thing. It's a project, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and a lot of money is involved. So risk, everyone has to take, understand, and how to mitigate it. create work product that provide value for others. Now, you are making a requirement. Say user has given you certain requirement. Now this requirement will go to analysis and modeling, and on the basis of these models, the construction will be done, the coding and testing will be done. If the requirement is missing, some of the requirement are missing, the modeling can be done on that basis, and the construction will not be done. So whatever you are making, it will provide value for others. If you don't look for ambiguity, or if you omit something, then in the later part there will be a problem. So what I'm trying to suggest here is, so all the required functions and features has to be passed on in a proper way to the person who is going to design. The person who is designing has to pass it on properly to the people or the practitioners who are going to generate the code. And those who are generating the code, the tester should get all the ideas so that they can plan the test. And finally, the maintenance people, they need to have all the documents. Software engineering, how to put this software engineering concepts, technology, science into practice. You are making a software, app, or website. The main goal of every software engineering practice or development is you want to deliver the software on time with quality, and it should contain all the functions and the features that user is wanting. That is all the function and feature which the stakeholder wants, so that he has given you the software or the software solution to be done, to be made. Okay. So this is the key work of software engineering and the software engineering practice. So what core principle, the fundamental principle we have to follow so that we actually practice these software engineering concepts? To achieve this goal of on-time, high-quality operational software with all the functions and features, the first thing is divide and conquer. See, Britishers were there and they divided India and Pakistan. They used the strategy of divide and conquer. Now these two, they are separate countries. But we are not talking about that here. We are talking about the separation of concerns. The concern is the combination of function and feature, you can say. Okay. So analysis and design should always emphasize or pressurize the separation of concerns. Because it's all about, whenever you are analyzing and designing, you're making a skeleton, you're making a framework. So what are these concerns? These are collection of elements, collection of function. I'll give an example. You have a bag, and in this bag you have sand, and you're a normal guy, and this is 60 kg of sand. Will you be able to lift it very easily? No. What you can do is you can transfer this into two bags which are 30 kgs of holding this 30 kgs of sand. If it is also not possible, let us make it as 10 kg of 6 bags. Even if it is not possible, 5 kgs. Okay. So what concern we are talking about are these small bags. So we are dividing these 60 functionalities, for example, into 5 functionality which can be done together, or they are dependent, so that you can validate them also, because you can develop them easily, because they can be together, they can be validated. The 5 kg can be done by other and 5 kg can be done by you, like this. Understand the use of abstraction. Abstraction is all about levels, the granularity, the modularity. Okay. So first day when somebody comes to your house, only for one day, one lunch or dinner, he will look for a high level view. If somebody comes and lives with you for 7 days, he will have a moderate view, right? But when a person stays with you for say 3 months, 6 months or a year, he will know that this tap is leaking. These are the problem in your house. These are the good thing about your house. So this is the abstraction I'm talking about. High level, low level, mid level, and many of these variations you can have. So whenever you are making, say, software, say you are making a spreadsheet like software, Excel. So Excel is the higher abstraction. You're making a software. Now, when you go to the lower level of abstraction, then you will talk about, oh, we need to have a column. We need to sum the elements. We have to take the average, like the standard deviation, etc. So this is the abstraction I'm talking about. Understand the use of abstraction. Don't take it as one view, one abstraction level. Strive for consistency. See, you have gone to school, everyone was wearing the same dress. Okay, this is consistency. People, you know, when you go to a hotel, who is the manager and who is the person who is going to serve you. So whenever we are making a software, we are creating analysis design, models, source code, test cases, etc. So what consistency we are talking about is if you are making a web app or a website. So what you have done? You have made, say, 50 pages. First page is blue color, second is green color. One, the menu are on the left side, on the other it is right side. So it is not ergonomically sound. Ergonomically means ease of use. The people who are right-handed, there are people who are, they are deaf and dumb or specially abled. For them, you have to make it consistent so they may use it. The consistency is all about even look. Focus on the transfer of information. Okay, this is not about communication I'm talking about. This interface is, say you are written a code, a module. Now you are taking data, say from database. Now here is the interface I'm talking about. The interface between your code, your program and the database. Let me tell you, and the data flow is like this. For example, you are having a network connection. So this is the networking interface. So here the omission, the ambiguity or the possibility of error is not acceptable. Build software that exhibits effective modularity. I talked about separation of concern. Okay. So modularity is all about making the granularity, or say module it, so that you can work with it easily. And modularity should be effective. For example, if your 60 requirements are there with you, so you made module for 10 or modularize it 10 and 50. So this is not a good kind of modularity. So there are two things. Whenever we make module or function, group of functions, here two things comes: cohesion and coupling. So if you made a function, say add. I have written a function, say, or you only have written a function called multiplication. These are two separate functions. I am taking a very naive example. So one function is add, one function is multiplication. Now this add function will have certain work, that is adding two numbers. So all the lines, all the code of this function should have a great cohesion, high cohesion. For example, multiplication code, it will also have a very good kind of cohesion, because these are code which are working for multiplication. But when these two functions are to be combined for a particular program or a software, the coupling between these two functions should be as least as possible. Okay, the add function, the content should be cohesive, but the add and multiplication function, the any interlinking interdependency should not be there. The coupling has to be as low as possible. Look for the patterns. We've already seen that whatever process we have been following, whatever work already been done, we can employ it. We can use it so that we are able, because there can be components, we have wider systems, and we can combine them to make a complex system. Next is, as we just talked about, look for patterns. The next one is, when possible, represent the problem and its solution from a number of different perspectives. What does it mean? It means if you are going to a party today, okay, you are a kid, say in your high school. Now it's Saturday. Now your view is, I will have fun, I will eat, dance. But your father will say, come before 9 o'clock. Your mother is concerned about your safety. So these are different perspectives, thoughts, views. So in order to make a software, you need to have different perspective. For example, a requirement model can be presented as scenario-oriented viewpoint. It can have a viewpoint of class orientation, or either the behavioral viewpoint should be there. So even a single model, requirement model, can be seen from different perspective because it's all about user, how it is going to work with the software. So you have to have that viewpoints. Remember that someone will maintain the software. You are making a software. Now you have to give it, deliver it, and then someone has to maintain it. Someone has to work with it or change it. So over a long term, especially the maintainability, you are going to correct the defects. If the defects are still there, they are not covered, means they are not fixed. They are not, because every time you have to adapt to the change. As I said, 3-year half-life for the technology. And if the stakeholder comes and he wants new capability, new environment configuration, you have to be done with that or true with that. Principles that guide communication. Whenever we talk, in any scenario, we want to get the information, we have to give the information. In software engineering, we have different framework activity. The first one is communication. Communication is all about requirement gathering. Then only you can make the requirement, and then only the software can be developed. So what are the principles software engineering concepts which you need to follow? Because a software is built why? It is a problem of a user which you are giving a solution as a software solution. So it's all about problem solving. So the effective communication, it may be among your team, it may be between you and the customer, it may be between customer and a project manager. You can have all the permutation combinations. So the communication is the most challenging and most important part. Okay? So when we are actually communicating, and this communication is with every form of software projects, small, big, everyone. The first thing is to listen. In normal conversation also, we listen to give response. We don't listen to understand. Focus. I'll give you an example here. See, this is how user has explained what you have made. The customer is saying, I want this, because he explained it. He is not wanting it. He is saying, I am explaining like this. The project leader understood like this. The analyst designed it like this. The programmer wrote it like this. The business consultant described it like this. The documentation is not there. The operation being installed and the customer is built like this, sometime low, sometime high. These are the milestones. How it was supported. And the customer really wanted this thing. The last one the customer wanted the last one. So why this has come? Because of communication problem. Every time. So whenever you have problem, don't hesitate in clarifying. Just ask. Don't interrupt multiple times. Just ask. Okay? Never be argumentative. Most of the time in normal life also, if you don't like something, we just start arguments. We start using harsh word, or we increase the loudness of our voice. We also do rolling eyes and shaking your head. You don't need it. Prepare before you communicate. That is, you just communicate without any, say facts and figures. For example, the project is related to communication technology or say network technology or some hardware it has to work. Then you need to understand the business domain, all the terminologies. You have to prepare in advance the agenda, because if you are able to meet, you need to be prepared. Someone has to facilitate the activity, this communication activity. So whenever we are having a meeting or a communication, we need a leader, we need a facilitator, because here we have a conversation. If some discussion is going on and it is not, there is some conflict, there has to be some person who can pacify. Face-to-face communication is always the best. This is the only best thing which communication can have. But today's scenario has changed. If you are, you can make some document, you can have some content already prepared like presentations. Take notes and document decision. Whatever is being decided or discussed in the meeting, the salient features and points of those have to be written. For example, some 80 discussions were there, means points. How many you have written? Strive for collaboration. See, if you take one stick, you can break. But if you take 5 stick or 10 stick, you will not be able to break. So the collaboration is very important among team members, among your stakeholders, because you are having a common goal. Stay focused, modularize your discussion. So whenever you are talking about one topic, first finish that topic, then only go to the next topic. Normally in conversation, what happens? We just jump to different concepts and talk and agendas. But there is a straight way, because you are talking about a topic. So just finish that topic, then only go to other one. That is why we need a leader or a facilitator. If something is unclear, draw a picture. As I said, the picture is worth 1,000 to 10,000 words. To improve the clarity, to understand the things, draw a picture. This is one very important principle. If you agree on something, it's good. Just move on. If everyone is in consensus, go on. If you can't agree to something, there is no point in discussing. Just go on. Because if you are unclear about certain feature and function, and at that particular moment that cannot be clarified, why not to sit again? Just move on. So, sometime moving on is the best way to achieve agility and communication. When two people are fighting, if one should stop speaking, there will be no confrontation. They can talk when they are in a light mood. Negotiation is not a contest or a game. We want both parties to win, the stakeholders and your software team. So whenever we sit for negotiation, what functions, what features, what priorities of the stakeholders, what are your priorities as a software person, what will be the delivery schedule, what are the demands, all parties need to compromise. If you want to jump higher, you have to take 2 steps back. So it should be a win-win condition for both of the stakeholders or parties involved. Principles that guide planning. This we are going to take in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.